So I think the best thing that we can do is make sure we make investments where knowingly we know the odds of us making money are really high and the odds of us losing money are really, really low. That's even more important than the making money part. And make a few diversified bets. Don't buy 3 REITs and say you're diversified. Don't buy 3 casinos and say you're diversified. How I would say that it depends on the nature of the business. So for example, let's say I'm looking at a funeral services operator. Okay. I don't know who will die in Cedar Rapids, Iowa next year, but I know how many will die in Cedar Rapids, Iowa next year. Okay. And so a business like the funeral services business, the number of people dying in a given year is somewhat predictable. Okay. If I look at a casino in Vegas, for example, let's say the Wynn Las Vegas or the Wynn Boston, for example, Encore Boston, right? What are their revenues in 2021? Well, the certainty on that is much different than the certainty on the funeral services business or, Carnival's business in the future, Mm-hmm. So each business has a different certainty of likelihood of those revenues and profits coming in, and it varies a lot. And the other thing to keep in mind is capitalism is very brutal. Everyone's out to take everyone out. Dog eat dog. It's a very competitive landscape, creative disruption. It's what makes our economy work. And so the only defense we have against all of these factors is to have a number of bets. So we cannot have, like Francis said, a high degree of conviction on our own. No one could have said that Vegas would go to 0 customers for several weeks in a row. Okay. Who would have ever imagined that? Right? Who would ever imagine that, like the other day, there's an airplane that flew with 1 passenger. Okay. The things we are seeing happening in the world would not have shown up in any projection you would have made. And so the only defense you have against that, because, my friend Guy Spear, I was talking to him earlier today, he says he's come to the conclusion that 100-year events happen every 10 years and 50-year events happen every 7 years. So his perspective is there's no such thing as 100-year events happening every 100 years. And he thought once he rode out the financial crisis, 08, 09, he could safely go to his grave and he'd never see another blimp again. Okay. And now he's resigned to the fact that every 5 or 10 years, he's going to see some earth-shattering event come through, which he can't imagine. So I think the best thing that we can do is make sure we make investments where knowingly we know the odds of us making money are really high and the odds of us losing money are really, really low. That's even more important than the making money part. And make a few diversified bets. Don't buy 3 REITs and say you're diversified. Don't buy 3 casinos and say you're diversified, right? So make a few diversified bets within your circle of competence, hopefully 8 or 10 bets. Don't sweat, is it 90% or 80% or 70%? Because we don't know. We just aren't that good as humans to see in the future.
That's great. And another quick question. What will be your maximum bets, like optimal number of bets you would like to make?
I don't put more than 10% of the fund into anything.
How many bets? How many?
Ideally, it will be 10 bets.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, looks sense. Like 10 times 10, 100%. That's great.